The Oregon Trail was a monumental journey for thousands of pioneers seeking a new life in the American West during the mid-19th century. However, this trek was fraught with numerous deadly threats that tested their endurance and resolve. The vast untamed wilderness presented constant dangers, from wild animals and harsh weather to treacherous river crossings. Pioneers faced life-threatening illnesses, deadly accidents, and even violent encounters, all of which contributed to the high mortality rate on the trail. Despite meticulous planning, many fell victim to the unexpected hazards that awaited them. These deadly threats, each with its unique challenges, underscored the perilous nature of the journey, highlighting the incredible bravery and resilience of those who ventured into the unknown. Large animal attacks. Large wild animal attacks were a deadly threat on the Oregon Trail, particularly during the 1840s and 1850s. Pioneers traveling through the vast wilderness encountered dangerous wildlife such as bears, wolves, and mountain lions. These animals, defending their territory or seeking food, occasionally attacked travelers, leading to severe injuries or death. Livestock, crucial for the journey, were also at risk, further endangering the pioneers' survival. Although not as common as other threats, wild animal attacks added an element of unpredictability and fear to the journey. An estimated few dozen pioneers lost their lives to such attacks, but the constant vigilance required to avoid encounters with dangerous animals added to the overall stress and difficulty of the journey through untamed frontier landscapes. Fire. Fire was a deadly threat on the Oregon Trail, particularly in the mid-19th century. Open campfires, essential for cooking and warmth, pose significant risks, especially in dry, windy conditions. Accidental fires could quickly spread, engulfing wagons, supplies, and surrounding vegetation. Burn injuries were often severe and difficult to treat, leading to infections and death. Fires also destroyed vital resources, leaving travelers without food, shelter, or transportation. The constant risk of fire required careful management and vigilance, highlighting the precarious nature of life on the trail. Fires contributed to the overall dangers faced by pioneers, adding to the high mortality rate. It is estimated that fire-related incidents caused several dozen deaths among the pioneers. Snake bites. Snake bites were a deadly threat on the Oregon Trail, particularly from the 1840s to the 1860s. The trail passed through regions inhabited by venomous snakes such as rattlesnakes. Encounters with these snakes often occurred when travelers unwittingly disturbed them while walking or gathering firewood. Lack of medical knowledge and limited access to effective treatments made snake bites potentially fatal. Bites cause severe pain, swelling, and tissue damage, leading to death in many cases. Snake bites added to the dangers faced by pioneers. An estimated 50 to 100 deaths occurred due to snake bites during the peak years of the trail. The constant vigilance required to avoid snake encounters further highlighted the perils of the treacherous journey. Flash flooding. Flooding posed a significant threat on the Oregon Trail, particularly during river crossings. Sudden storms and melting snow could cause rivers to swell rapidly, creating dangerous conditions for wagons, livestock, and travelers. Attempting to ford swollen rivers often resulted in drownings, loss of supplies, and destruction of wagons. Flooding was especially deadly during spring and early summer when water levels were highest. The threat of flooding required careful timing and planning to safely navigate river crossings. Although exact death tolls from flooding are not well documented, it was a contributing factor to the overall mortality on the trail. It is estimated that several hundred pioneers may have drowned during river crossings, highlighting the unpredictable and treacherous nature of the journey. Indian attacks. Indian attacks were a feared threat on the Oregon Trail, particularly during the peak years of westward expansion in the 1840s and 1850s. Conflicts arose as settlers encroached on Native American lands, leading to violent encounters. While not as frequent as disease-related deaths, Indian attacks were deadly and created widespread fear. Notable incidents, such as the Grattan Massacre in 1854, resulted in the deaths of multiple settlers. Despite these conflicts, many Native American tribes also traded with and helped the settlers. The overall death toll from Indian attacks is estimated to be in the hundreds, posing a significant threat on the journey's safety. Extreme weather. Exposure to extreme weather conditions was a constant deadly threat on the Oregon Trail, particularly in the 1840s and 1850s. Pioneers faced scorching summer heat, freezing winter temperatures, and violent storms. Inadequate shelter, clothing, and supplies made them vulnerable to hypothermia, heat stroke, and frostbite. Exposure often led to illness and death, especially for the young, elderly, and those already weakened by other hardships. The harsh and unpredictable weather conditions added a relentless layer of danger to the journey, contributing to the high mortality rate. Exposure deaths are estimated in the hundreds as travelers succumb to the brutal elements. The threat of exposure underscored the need for proper preparation and resilience in facing the brutal elements of the American frontier. Accidents. Accidents were a common and deadly threat on the Oregon Trail, claiming numerous lives from the 1840s to the 1860s. Wagon accidents, such as rollovers and runaways, were frequent, often resulting in crushed limbs or fatalities. Drownings occurred while crossing rivers, with fast currents and deep waters posing significant dangers. Firearm mishaps and accidental shootings were also common as inexperienced pioneers handled weapons. Such accidents contributed to the overall death toll on the trail, estimated in the several hundreds perishing from accidents. The constant physical challenges and hazards faced by the pioneers made accidents an ever-present danger, emphasizing the perilous nature of the westward journey. Overall, accidental deaths may have accounted for a significant portion of the trail's total fatalities. Starvation. Starvation posed a significant threat on the Oregon Trail, particularly during the mid-1800s. Many pioneers underestimated the amount of food needed for the journey, leading to shortages. Harsh weather, poor planning, and unexpected delays exacerbated the risk of running out of provisions. Hunting and foraging provided limited relief as game and edible plants were not always available. Starvation led to weakness, susceptibility to disease, and death, particularly in the latter stages of the journey. Although exact numbers are hard to determine, starvation contributed significantly to the several thousands of deaths on the trail, highlighting the critical importance of adequate food supplies and careful planning for survival on long and treacherous ventures. Dysentery. Dysentery, a waterborne disease, plagued Oregon Trail travelers, particularly from the 1840s to the 1860s. Caused by bacterial or amoebic infection, it resulted in severe diarrhea, abdominal pain, and fever. Dysentery spread through contaminated food and water, exacerbated by the lack of sanitation and hygiene in the wagon camps. Dehydration from the illness often led to death, especially among children and the elderly. Dysentery was responsible for a significant portion of the total deaths along the trail. Its prevalence and impact underscore the harsh and unsanitary conditions faced by pioneers, highlighting the critical need for clean water and proper sanitation during long overland journeys. Dysentery is estimated to have claimed thousands of lives among the pioneers. Cholera. Cholera was one of the deadliest threats on the Oregon Trail during the mid-19th century, especially from the 1840s to the 1860s. This waterborne disease spread rapidly through contaminated water sources and poor sanitation in crowded wagon camps. Symptoms included severe diarrhea and dehydration, leading to death within hours if untreated. Cholera outbreaks claimed thousands of lives, with entire wagon trains sometimes being decimated. The disease's rapid spread and high fatality rate made it a constant fear for travelers. The lack of effective medical treatment at the time exacerbated the threat, making cholera one of the most feared dangers on the trail. Statistics suggest that cholera could account for up to 1/3 of the estimated 20,000 deaths on the Oregon Trail. Thanks for watching, folks. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if so, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons below.